Today, I want to speak not only to your minds, but to the deepest chambers of your hearts. We live in a world where strength is celebrated in its loudest forms. Victories, records broken, mountains conquered, and adversaries defeated. From ancient legends to modern icons, the spotlight often falls on power, courage, and unshakable will. But hidden beneath those shining victories lies a quieter, often misunderstood force: the silent, transformative strength of vulnerability. It is not weakness. It is not fragility. Vulnerability is the raw essence of being human. It is the courage to step forward while trembling, to speak when your voice shakes, to love when your heart remembers pain, and to stand open when every instant tells you to hide. And when you look closely at the legends that shaped civilizations, you will find that their most defining moments were not born out of invincibility, but from vulnerability embraced. Think of Achilles, the mighty warrior of Greek mythology, celebrated for his unmatched power and skill in battle. Yet his story is remembered not only for his victories, but for his vulnerable heel. His tale reminds us, strength without vulnerability is incomplete. True greatness comes from knowing where you are unguarded and still stepping into the fight. Or look to King Arthur. The sword and the stone could not be lifted by the strongest warriors who relied on muscle and might. It was Arthur, young, uncertain, untested, who approached with humility and vulnerability, not with arrogance. That act of openness, of being willing to try despite doubt, revealed his destiny as a legendary king. Even the Norse gods, mighty and fierce, had their share of vulnerability. Odin, in his quest for wisdom, sacrificed an eye at the well of Mimir. Imagine that. A god choosing loss, willingly exposing himself to gain sight beyond sight. Vulnerability became his gateway to deeper strength. And then there is the story of the samurai. The code of Bushido was not just about courage in battle, but about honor, humility, and an acceptance of mortality. A samurai stepped onto the battlefield fully aware of his vulnerability to death, and it was precisely this acceptance that gave him unmatched power in life. These legends echo across cultures and centuries. They whisper the same truth. Vulnerability is not the opposite of strength. It is the soil from which real strength grows. Why then do so many of us hide it? Because we have been told again and again that to show weakness is to fail, that to admit fear is to surrender, that to be open is to invite defeat. And so we put on armor. We smile when we are breaking inside. We say, "I'm fine," when storms rage within. We build walls so tall no one can climb them, not even ourselves. But here's the truth. Armor may protect you, but it also isolates you. Walls may defend you, but they also imprison you. And when you shield yourself from vulnerability, you also shield yourself from connection, growth, and transformation. Vulnerability is energy. It is the energy of a heart willing to beat loudly, even when it could be broken. It is the energy of a mind willing to speak truth, even when others may not understand. It is the energy of a soul willing to leap into the unknown, not because it is certain of success, but because it knows staying still is the only real failure. Now, I want you to imagine for a moment the greatest victories of your life. Think back. Did they come when you felt invincible, untouchable, and perfectly prepared? Or did they come when you dared to act despite fear, despite uncertainty, despite the trembling inside? Every first step onto a stage, every confession of love, every attempt at a dream, every apology spoken, every risk taken. These are not moments of weakness. They are the most powerful demonstrations of human courage. Because here is the paradox of vulnerability. The very thing we fear will break us is the thing that binds us, lifts us, and allows us to soar. The legends of old remind us of vulnerability, but modern legends live among us too. Consider Nelson Mandela, 27 years in prison, his freedom stripped away, his body weakened, his spirit tested. When he emerged, he did not armor himself in vengeance. He allowed vulnerability, empathy, forgiveness, and humility to guide him, and through it, he united a nation. Look at Malala Yousafzai, a young girl shot for daring to speak, standing before the world not as a hardened warrior, but as a vulnerable teenager, saying, "I raise up my voice, not so I can shout, but so that those without a voice can be heard." Vulnerability became her megaphone. Or think of athletes who we revere not just for their records, but for their admissions of struggle. Serena Williams speaking about self-doubt, Michael Phelps about depression, Simone Biles about mental health. Their vulnerability became their superpower, inspiring millions who might have otherwise suffered in silence. These are not exceptions. They are evidence of a truth as old as humanity. Vulnerability is not the shadow of strength. It is its heartbeat. Now, I turn to you. What are you hiding? What are you protecting so fiercely that the world cannot see? Your dream? Your pain? Your true self? What if I told you that the very thing you are hiding is the key to your next level of greatness? Because vulnerability is not only about sharing tears, it is about opening doors. It is about saying, "This is me, unpolished, unfinished, uncertain, and still I am here." It is about starting the business even when you fear failure. It is about telling someone you love them even when rejection is possible. It is about standing for your values even when it costs you comfort. It is about daring to live, not armored, not silent, not hidden, but open, raw, and fully alive. So, let me leave you with this. When you walk out of here today, do not chase the illusion of invulnerability. Do not strive to be untouchable. Strive instead to be unafraid of being touched by pain, by joy, by connection, by love, by failure, by triumph. Let your vulnerability become your compass. Let it guide you to deeper relationships, bolder choices, and braver dreams. Because one day, your story will be told too. And do you want it to be remembered as a tale of someone who hid behind walls, or as a legend of someone who embraced vulnerability and through it discovered unshakable strength? So, rise. Rise with the energy of legends in your veins. Rise with Achilles, who showed us that even the strongest have tender places. Rise with Arthur, who proved that humility opens the gates of destiny. Rise with Odin, who taught that sacrifice for truth is no weakness. Rise with Mandela, with Malala, with every soul who chose vulnerability and in doing so became unstoppable. Rise with your own trembling, your own doubts, your own open heart. Rise not despite your vulnerability, but because of it. And when you do, when you walk boldly into the world, vulnerable yet unbroken, open yet unshaken, you will discover what the legends always knew, that the silent strength of vulnerability is the loudest roar you will ever carry.